Holy moly, welcome to the Momentasize Multifamily series. In this first episode, we're gonna show you how we found the deal. We're gonna show you how we backed into the numbers of the deal, and then finally how we made the offer. Come in and take a look. All right, so step number one, finding the deal. There are three critical things to finding the deal. The first one is location. Figure out where you want to invest. We do it in tertiary markets, but figure out where you want to invest and study it. All right, number two, zoning. This is one of the most critical things to look at. Once you figured out your location, you have to learn the zoning. This is your playbook to unlocking value in a piece of land. So if you come and take a look at Redmond, for example, this is a tertiary market that we love, that we're focused on. And I don't even look at something unless it's in a high density zoning. Here in Redmond, that means R4 or R5. The key is to understand all the rules, the setbacks, your minimum, maximum densities, your height requirements. Once you learn those rules, you can go look at a piece of land and see something that somebody else may not see. Learn your zoning. It is the key to unlocking it. And number three, relationships. Real estate truly is a relationship game. Your net worth is going to equal your net worth. Go and become a presence, meet people, talk to them, go to every event that you can go to. Some of the tricks that we use is we go on LoopNet, we look at who has all the listings, we make phone calls, we talk to them, we show up. It's a key thing to your success. All right, so we've talked about how to find the deal. Now let's look at the numbers behind the deal. What we like to do is I like to back into the land value. Step one to that is figuring out the comps of the finished product. So let's use an example. If the finished value of our apartments is going to be $250,000 per unit, that right there is going to give us the base to make our land calculation. Okay, so once you figured out the base of what your finished product is going to be worth by talking to brokers, looking at comps, going on LoopNet, you can then use a formula to calculate what the land is going to be worth at entitlements. Typically it's worth right around 10%. The raw land is worth typically around 10% of your finished product. Or in this case, that'd be $25,000 per unit. Okay, so now that we figured out what the land is worth per unit, we have to solve for the equity creation. What I mean by that is, if the land's worth $25,000 per unit at entitlements, we don't want to pay that. So we have to figure out a formula to make our offer. What I typically like to do is create somewhere between 10 to 15K of equity. That means that I would be willing to offer somewhere between 10 to 15K per unit on this land. Okay, so we've talked about how to find the deal, the numbers behind the deal. Now let's talk about how you structure your offer. There's a process that I like to use. It's called entitlements to close. What this means is that you never even close the property until you have entitlements from the city, until you unlock all that value, right? So step number one to that is give yourself enough time. I like to structure the offers where we have at least 6 to 9 months of due diligence, and then we always put extension options in there. You know, you can negotiate with the seller. Each seller will be different and have a different appetite towards it, but always make sure you give yourself enough lead time. Okay, so we want to give ourselves plenty of time to do the due diligence, but we also want to create a carrot for the seller. So what I mean by creating a carrot is there's a couple things you can do. You can give them some non-refundable money up front. Everybody loves that. You can also tell them that all the work you do, if you for some reason have to pull out, they have access to that work. So you can do a clause in your contract that allows them access to all of that work, which can be a substantial amount of work and investment. And number three, it's very, very important to structure offers where you have an out. You never know what happens. Let's say your numbers aren't penciling to where you thought they were, you perform those weak, or the city actually comes and says, no, you can't do what you got on here. You have to have an out on the contract. Protect yourself. Very, very important. Holy moly, that was a lot to digest. I hope you guys enjoyed the series, the fundamentals of how we find a deal. how we do the numbers behind it, and then how we structure the offer. We're gonna keep creating content so you can see the full build out, and we hope you follow us along.